Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. It's Mary Jane. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Potomac Season 3, Episode 20, The Reunion Part 2. Michael, Ashley's husband, is so disrespectful. He was very disrespectful to Karen. That's why he's disrespectful to Ashley's mother, even though she was asking for a handout. So when you ask for a handout, that's how you get treated. And so you know he don't be treating Ashley like she's supposed to be treated at home because she gets a handout from him. That business is a handout, and whatever allowance she gets is a handout. So you actually work for him, and you actually his servant. So let's get that straight, because he was definitely disrespectful to Karen for no reason, would not let her talk or talk to Ashley. And then he was disrespectful to Ray about their tax business and their tax issues. Like, it's none of your damn business how much they owe, when they owe. To you too, Andy, it's none of your damn business if he paid the taxes off or not, how much he paid. Just know that he owes taxes and he's working on it, he's making payments. Like, miss me with that bullshit. Like, you people are really sickening as hell. And then let's get to the ladies on the other couch, all the ugly dressing ladies and all the ugly dressing guys on the couch with, not Candace, this couch right here, you see that couch right there, ugly. Even what's her name, Sharice, terrible, ugly ass dress. Look at her titties hanging down to her vagina, and she got money so she can buy a very decent bra. And look, this is the worst table. I mean, the worst couch over here. Absolutely terrible. It's like, damn, when they showed the recaps of the season, with like, damn, everybody was really going at Karen like it was nobody's business, and they was going at Monique. It's like, damn, why are they so intimidated or so threatened by Karen? Like, damn, she don't want to tell him her business because Ray explained that there's a lot of people involved in a tax situation, and wherever it is, when people have tax issues that are in Hollywood, you see it say, oh, this one owes $2 million, this one owes $200,000. They don't get into specifics, they don't get into the details, they don't tell all that much because they got to keep that secret. That's like that. Like, just give out your social security number. Why don't you? And Robin is trying to have a little come around, but she was hating too as well. Giselle was hating all day on, Monique. She's just jealous because Monique has a husband and she's with child and she has children. And Chris ain't never gonna leave Monique high and dry and stranded. She's never gonna be a single woman, in my opinion, a single mother or anything like that. And Chris has not been cheating on her. When Giselle was married, she was getting cheated on all day, every day. Her husband was sleeping with the whole congregation, and things like that. And Chris is dedicated to Monique. He even put his mother on the back burner. Told his mother, you call my wife names, you disrespect my wife, you ain't in the picture, baby, unless you apologize. And you never see that shit on TV. And so it was like mad jealousy going on. And then we got Michael over here with these crocodile tears. I'm not even gonna say that. I was gonna say something real fugazi, baby. I had to stop. I was about to say something so bad. So anyways, oh, so let's get back to this. So, so we get on to these ladies in what's her name? Sharice, her hairline around the front, around here, you can see where half her hair was out, slicked down with gel, and then the weave cap or the whatever, what do they call the things that they put? I don't know, the frontal wig, I don't know, some type of frontal wig, or the lace front wig. You can see where it, like, you can tell, like, she put lace front and dye on her own hair, slicked it down with gel, and you can see where the wig begins and ends. Like, that's way too much. She got money, she got dough, she's on the market, right? Like, what's going on with that? And then the shoulders out like that. And the dress would have been pretty on anybody else. It did not fit her, did not look right on her at all. The guys, the absolutely best dressed guy on the show was absolutely Ray, was Karen's husband. He was elegant. He looked like good money, clean money. He looked good. He looked really nice. And then I would say the runner up to him would have been, Chris, which is Monique's husband. And then I would have to say it would have been Ashley's husband. He looks like he got on everyday wear. So I'm going to have to go with Chris, which is Monique's husband, with the best dress of the guys. I'm going to have to do the ladies order over. It's going to be Karen, it's going to be Monique, and then it's going to be Candace, because did you see Giselle earrings? I didn't see her earrings last episode, and I didn't see them glittery ass stockings she had on with them ugly ass shoes. She had stockings, open toe shoes with freaking stockings on, and she had them ugly ass earrings, and then the back of the dress was like all bundled up. like, oh no, when she got up and she went to go check on Karen, her dress was absolutely ugly. And then the shit around the neck, actually, the back of the dress absolutely looked worse. And, Ashley just looked like, she woke up and she went to Goodwill and got her a dress. When you guys shop at Goodwill, I apologize, but Ashley has money. She's married to a millionaire and she can afford a decent outfit. Come on, miss me with that bull crap. So let's get into it. So Karen, she's crying. But also must say, I just deal with that later. Karen was in the back crying. Giselle, she went back there to check on her. Blase in the third, and she said Karen's the most strongest person that she know, the strongest woman she know. Blase in the third. So if she's the most strongest and the most strongest woman you know, that's why you pick on her, make fun of her. And then on top of that, they all knew that Karen actually lived in that house, and they just did that just to be spiteful and shady. Because, Robin said she knew that she actually stood there. She lived in the house. He just wanted her to just say, what? Invite you over? She didn't want to invite you tramps to her house. And then, Robin said that, oh, I did see her pocketbook. So then when they went to, what's her name? Candace's, party for her engagement party or whatever, they still questioned whether she lived in that house, acting like it was a lie. And then they even had Michael involved into it, like, oh, she don't really live there, doesn't make any sense. And Michael was joining in on the conversation where Ashley, Robin, and Giselle talking about Karen doesn't live in that estate at, Candace's party, when they knew all along that she actually lived there. That's real grimy and shady. So, so we have Karen, she comes back to the stage, and then we have Giselle, she comes back to the stage, and, while they're backstage, Candace was like, we all should, we all should meet Karen meet her somewhere, because we're all supposed to be her friends. Meet her somewhere at some type of ground. This is where Robin jumps in. Was like, well, I don't know if I could, because you never know when she's telling the truth or not. Then and then Monique cleared it up and said, Monique said, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter whether she's telling the truth or not. If she's having a hard time, she's going through a hard situation, we need to all meet her somewhere, because, when you come into the situation dealing with Karen, Robin, when you think that she's lying, she's been manipulating, and your expectations are for the worst, you actually get the worst. So when you're expecting the worst, you get the worst, and you make a bad situation worse than what it is. Robin had no comeback from that. And then you got Giselle talking about Karen's the strongest person. And then we have Ashley. Ashley says she feels bad. She feels bad for what Karen's going through, because, she lost her mother. She's a mother. She's a daughter. And she has it. But I just have issue with her as a person. She's a person that's going through all these things. So how are you going to say you have issues with her as a person? She's a mother person. She has a mother as a person. She has a daughter as a person. And she's a person. So, miss me with that, Ashley, because you make no sense. You really be acting like you know it all. You don't know nothing. That's why you getting played like it ain't nobody's business, and you getting used for your youth. And once your youth runs out, he's going to throw you to the curb and get him another hot vanilla chocolate, baby. So moving on. But he might actually, I think he got with her because of her age, and she got with him because of his money. And maybe along the line they might have felt for each other, maybe not. But he was quick to dismiss her and actually like give her out, like, if you want to leave, you can go, like, we might not be having these kids and whatever. But he actually had a turnaround, so that's good. Well, I don't know. I don't care if it's good or not. It don't matter, because Ashley really needs to work on herself, because she's such a volatile, hateful, mean person that it's hard for good things to come to a person like that, because she breathes and she hoards negative energy, and it carries around with her, where it's so hard for blessings to come her way. And we all may think that she's blessed because she's married to a multi-millionaire. She don't gotta work, and she owns her own restaurant, and she lives in a house on the hills, and or a condo on the hills or whatever, and people idolize and say, oh, she made it in her life. You know what would be nice? If she actually made it on her own. Then she would be more proud of herself, and then she wouldn't have to put up the bullshit that Michael put her through. And then she can actually take care of her mother if she wanted to, and help her out and support her like she wants to. She don't have to ask and beg her husband, had to sex him up all week long and give him blowjobs just to get some dimes and some quarters and some nickels to give to her mother to pay some bills. But it's good. Her mother's actually on her feet now. And her boyfriend didn't have a job in 15 years, and now he got a job. So it's all good. So moving on from that situation, we have, Karen feels like she's an orphan. She doesn't have her mother or her father, and she lost her parents so close to each other that damn. But the show must go on, so these ladies are going to be rude and disrespectful to her no matter what. But in a lot of my videos, I have said in the past, that nobody cares when you lose somebody. Like, people still treat you like shit. You still got to go to work. You still got to deal with people, cutting you and cutting you off in traffic, people lying on you, disrespecting you, and all types of stuff. People don't care when you lose somebody. The world doesn't stop when you lose somebody that you love, and that's the saddest part, because the world actually stops for you because you can't see yourself going on and you need to mourn, but people don't care about that at all. And I have been saying this for so long. The world doesn't stop because you hurting or you in pain, and it never stops. It's always gonna keep going. So moving on from that situation, you got Karen and Giselle, their friendship. Like, people question, like, 1 minute you guys are friends, 1 minute you guys are not friends. So they're just wondering what's the dynamic between Giselle and Karen. They have some type of dynamic that's going on between them where they can forgive and forget things with each other, and they're less likely to dog one another out when, like, they'll dog each other out, but if somebody else jumps in, they're gonna dog them out. But ultimately, at the end, Giselle and Karen are gonna be cool, are gonna be cordial to each other, and double team somebody else. That could just possibly be the situation with that. And so then they asked, just, Andy's talks about Giselle, like, what's up with the Sherman disappear? Yes, Sherman, you started out with Sherman, he disappeared on your ass. What happened? What's going on? Is it okay for you guys to date a married man that's a friend of the circle? So then we get Sharice, she comes out. And Sharice's makeup was mad heavy. Her makeup was so heavy she didn't look human. Like, she looked like somebody sketched her out. She had so much shiny makeup on it. Then she had the eyelashes, she had top eyelashes and bottom eyelashes where you couldn't really see her eyes at all. Like, she looked like an ant. Like, what was really going on with that situation? And she got money, style, and she got finesse. What's going on with that situation? Like, come on. So moving on from that situation, so Sharice comes out, and the question was asked to Giselle, like, why did you really go at Monique so hard, but you gave Karen a pass? And Giselle said, that she actually gave her a pass because, no, hold on. Before we get to that, let's get to Andy being shady. So when Sharice comes out, Andy was like, "I like your hair." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm cute. I'm keeping it new and young because I'm on the market." And then Andy said, "Oh, I heard. Oh yeah, everything's on the market. I heard your house is on the market." I was like, "He's so shady, Andy." And so he was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah, it's up for sale. It's on the market." And then Andy said, "Well, everything's for sale, huh?" And so Sharice said, "Yes, everything for sale," and went down. Like, he's actually, to me, he was kind of like calling her out, like she's broke for number one, not because she's selling the house, but just the way he said it was like she's broke. Like, hey, if you were trying to keep a secret about your house being for sale, it's not gonna happen. And then on top of that, she was like, everything's for sale. And it's like, that's not something he would say to other members. I believe he gets really shady with the melanin women. So moving on from that situation, I was just like, damn, Andy could be shady as he want to be. So, Sharice says, yes, everything's for sale. And then they question, Monique about the messiness with inviting Kendall to the situation. So that's when Giselle was like, I knew I was okay. I knew that, Monique was trying to get Kendall. I know Monique invited Kendall to, no, Karen had invited Kendall to, that charity event, but I was okay with it. It wasn't a big deal. But with, Monique, it was really a big deal because, she felt that Monique was being mad shady with the situation. And that's when Sharice was like, "What are you talking?" I mean, Monique was like, "What are you talking about?" And then that's when Sharice was like, "Oh, I had nothing to do with Kendall coming on the season. I was on season 1, I was on season 2, and I was thinking of season 3 that maybe Kendall can be on season 3 or whatever, because me and her was kind of messed up or whatever. Me and Giselle was kind of messed up. So I was like, oh, let's rattle her cage. Let's see if I can get, Kendall on the show or whatever." And then Monique said, then Monique was like, when I first met Kendall, I didn't even know that she was Sherman's ex at all. I had no idea. And she was just like, she was like, Charisse was actually saying that she wanted to bring Kendall on the show actually at, Giselle's birthday party. So she was like, I don't know why she's pointing a finger at me. And then Charisse was like, oh, there is no lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest that, I wanted to bring her on season 3 or whatever, but I didn't bring her on season 3. Monique brought her on season 3. And then, that's when Giselle said, I was really mad at Monique because Monique has actually brought her on the show. She actually gave her a platform for the show. And then she actually was planning this a year before, season 3 started to film. Like she was trying to get, Kendall on the show. And then that's when Monique was like, what are you talking about? Oh, Kendall must have told you that. And Charisse must have told you that because that ain't true. So you heard that information from Charisse. And so, of course, she heard that information from Charisse. I don't know why Charisse is actually backpedaling and actually don't want to admit that she really has something to do with bringing Kendall on the show. I don't know why she's scared. I don't know what's going on with that situation, but she's really trying to throw Monique under the bus, saying that she was the one that wanted to bring, Kendall on or whatever. And so then I was just like, OMG. So Giselle feels like that Monique actually allowed Kendall to be on the show, but in order for Kendall to be on the show, don't Charisse got to do something too? Don't she got to approve? Don't she got something to say about it? And she know beforehand, and she can warn Giselle, but she didn't. And Bravo has to prove, and the production company has to prove of Kendall being on the show. And that's just not gonna go with Monique. Oh, I'm gonna invite a friend. There has to be some approval going on. So people had to approve, and so then that's when Giselle was like, well, listen to this. Kendall's been begging to be on the show. She's been begging to be on season 1 and season 2, but she was just too boring. But since I started to date Sherman, they allowed her to come on season 3, and she did that through Monique. So she's saying that the production company and Bravo approve of, Kendall being on the show since, Giselle was dating, Sherman. So I was like, okay. So I guess they thought that, Kendall was going to bring some negativity on the show. And then it also seems like Kendall was trying her best to be on the show. She was talking to people trying to be on the show herself. So she could have made moves to get on the show her goddamn self because she wanted to be on the show. If she was trying to be on the show from season 1, season 2, she could have damn well said that, called up the people like, Sherman is dating Giselle and I'm his ex-wife and I got some information on him that I can explode and bring it to the show and expose information. So it could be Charisse and Monique's involved, but also Kendall actually putting her feet in the door by herself because she knows who to get in contact with because she tried season 1 and season 2, and so season 3 was a charm. They always say the third time's a charm, baby. So we have that situation going on, and so that's why Giselle is more angry with Monique. It's because Monique actually brought her on the show, I guess gave her the cameo to be on the show or whatever, but she's not mad at at Karen at all because Karen don't care. It ain't a big deal to Karen, and she can't badger Karen with being friends with Kendall when she's been friends with Kendall before she was friends with Giselle. Even though we don't see Karen talking to Giselle on the show, we don't know what type of relationship they have outside of the show. And so that's when Monique, and so then that's when Giselle was like, you clearly bothered by me. You clearly bothered by this. You clearly bothered by that. And so that's when Monique was like, what do you mean bothered by that? He was like, I don't even think about you, girl. I don't be worrying about you trying to hustle and get people on this show, whatever. It ain't even like that. She was like, yes, you trying to get under my skin, trying to get somebody on to bother. She was like, no, he was like, I'm not trying to ruffle your feathers or bother you. Me waking up in the morning, ruffle your feathers and bother you, girlfriend. And when I take a breath, it bothers you. And Karen just laughed her ass off. I was like, oh shit, we going in. So we have that situation going down. I was like, damn. So Monique threw a nice good one. She said, me breathing bothers you, baby. Me just existing and being alive bothers you. I was just like, oh no. So we have that situation go on. And then after that, they talk about, Sherman and So we talk about Ashley Twitter. When she tweeted about, Sherman has a type. He likes tall, light skinned women. And then Giselle was like, well, she looks like a horse. And that's when Karen and, Monique was like, no, she doesn't look like a horse. She's a very pretty woman and she's very intelligent. But a lot of people believes that Kendall looks like a horse. I don't think she looks like a horse in my opinion. So moving on from that situation, um, and then they talk about, is Giselle going to get back with Sherman? And she said that she's been talking to him 4 or 5 times a day or whatever. So they might be getting back together because he wants to get back with her. And that's when Candace asked, so what did you say when he asked you to get back together? And then that's when Giselle said, mind your business, Tweety Bird. I was like, I'm thinking she called her Tweety Bird because of the outfit that she had on. It's like she called her Tweety Bird. And so, but Giselle said that, they're working towards getting things back together or whatever. And then, so that's when Andy was like, so how did Sherman feel when he heard about Monique talking about, Sherman incident with picking up prostitutes? And she was like, he was clearly mad and clearly upset. But he knows Monique is a horrible person. So it didn't really bother him. And Monique was trying to apologize about the situation. But, Giselle didn't let her. She was trying to apologize to, Sherman. And that's when Giselle was like, you don't need your apologies. But it's kind of crazy that he's not mad about, Monique talking about, him picking up prostitutes and things like that and getting arrested for that. But he's upset with Giselle, but going on People's magazines. Going on People magazine, that don't make no sense either. Like, come on, miss me with that craziness. They are some fugazi situation. And so, Charisse and Monique are not going to be friends anymore. Their friendship are over. It's done because, Charisse feels like Monique used her for, her connections and things like that. And that she had a lot of issues with her and all that other stuff. And that's when, Monique jumped in and was like, no, that's not true. You told, this is what you always say, use my friends, use my people. Let me introduce you to the right people. Don't use that masseuse. Don't use that physical therapist. Use this person. Use that person. I know the right people. Let me introduce you. Let me show you. And so Monique was dumbfounded about, why would she say that? Because every time she talks around, she's bragging about go to this person, go to that person, do this, do that. So she was dumbfounded that she would even co-sign and believe anything that any of what the other ladies were saying. And so that's when Candace chimed in to Monique to tell her that, Charisse was co-signing when the ladies were saying this about behind your back. So basically Monique was also like, the ladies were jealous because me and Charisse friendship developed so fast that, they had to put an end to it, and they was jealous. And then Robin made a stank face because Robin was one of them. Giselle was one of them. I don't know if Ashley was. So moving on from that situation, so they're not friends anymore. They thought they was best of friends, but it's over. It's done with. And then they asked Karen about the situation. And Karen said she really thought that, Charisse and Monique's friendship was going to last and be special because Monique was really loyal to Charisse and she really had her back and she really thought it was a genuine friendship. But it's sad that it's gone and it's over now. So that situation is out the window. And so, Chris, we find out, Monique, husband Chris, he lost 35 pounds due to a lot of sex. He's very disappointed. And Charisse was one of his favorite ladies on the show. And he's so disappointed that they're not friends because he really liked her and things like that. And also Chris, he feels bad that he had a miscarriage, and he feels bad about the ladies, especially Ashley, insinuating, the other ladies kind of insinuating nonchalantly that Monique is an alcoholic, and that gave the viewers, ammunition to say Monique lost her baby because she's an alcoholic and she was drinking, and it really hurt him and things like that. And, he just felt bad about the situation. And so then they asked about Chris. They asked Chris, have you talked to your sons? Have you seen your children? Chris has not seen his son. He has not seen his children. And he's still like out the picture. Like, Chris, your girlfriend got money on the show. You getting a paycheck. You got another paycheck. You need to try to get visitation rights with your children so they can know who the hell you are. Like, come on, like, whatever the mama's telling or whatever went down, you need to make it right and make the situation right. How can you move on and start a new life with Candace when your old life is not complete yet and you haven't solved the problems in your old life? You know what I mean? Your past before, Candace was involved. And then they also asked Chris, how does he feel about, Candace talking about that, like, she lowered her standards from dating a guy with children. And he goes, it really doesn't bother him because he knows that she didn't mean it that way. Candace, she apologized and she didn't mean it for it to come out that way. She was being selfish. I don't think that she was being selfish. I don't think she was wrong. I think sometimes some people have a standards and have a level of the type of people that they try to date. And usually, sometimes when people don't have children, they kind of want somebody that doesn't have children as well. So if they do have children together, it'll be a very good bonding experience, and it'll be their first. They'll both experience the experience together, and that's what I think about that situation. But Chris was not bothered, and that's a good way to be. Chris was not bothered, and that was great because they didn't use that against him, and he didn't use that against his wife to have arguments and things like that. And so they asked Ray how he was doing, how's his taxes and all this other stuff. Ray was like, his taxes is all right. He's all right. He's making his payment. He's doing his thing with his taxes, and he's taking care of his business. Andy wanted to know how much money he had to pay, and Ray refused to answer that question. And that's when Ashley said, "Good try, Andy. Like, mind your business, Ashley." So we have that situation. So they did a flashback of how all the ladies were ganging up on Karen, and Ray was like, she goes, I'm laughing because I gotta keep from crying, because he probably is like, damn, this is what my wife is going through to be on this damn show. Then he was like, I know Ray she was the real Bill Gates or somebody else that had multi millions, that his wife didn't have to be on the show. I don't know if Karen needs to be on the show to survive, but she might just enjoy the attention because, she has an empty nest. Her kids are grown. She just lost her mother and father. And so it's something for her to do as well, alongside of promoting herself and her brand and her businesses that she has going on. And, they really tried to really dog out. If Karen was my mother or my grandmother, you ladies wouldn't be sitting up there all smiling in your ugly dresses. Let me tell you that much. So moving on from that situation, then they talk about, Ray, have you paid your bills again? And he said, I'm paying my bills. And they talk about the pizza situation. And, he was like, the landscapers really got in trouble for that, because the guy that owns the landscaping company, he thought that his workers did that. And, it caused a big commotion. He yelled at his workers because there was raccoons and critters. When he said critters, I haven't heard critters in a long time, especially down south. They use critters. They say critters a lot. And so they kind of, Robin actually felt bad about the situation. That's when Robin owned up to, like, oh yeah, I know you live there. And then the ladies kind of owned up that they knew that she was living there as well. And so Ray just explained that the problem was going on with his taxes, where it's his company, his business. It was the IRS. It was the government. Taxes wasn't worked out. Everybody didn't pay their portion. There was errors on his part, errors on his accountant's part, error on the government's part. And so that situation, so that's when Chris jumps in and was like, oh my God, if you're in business, if you know business and this and that, blah, 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 you got an accountant, you got a lawyer, it's double check. You don't sign anything unless you know it's right. You must not know people. What's his name, Michael? People sign anything. People sign things without reading when they do have business, when they are smart and intelligent, because they sign so much stuff, they think they can get out of anything. And sometimes people just trust in other people so much, or trust that people are doing their job right because they never had any problems before. So I'm going to trust you this time, or that time I never had any situation. But yeah, Ray could have read more. He could have did more. So that's when Michael throws in his experience, like, oh, this and that. Why you living? Why would you move from Potomac, from your job to this big old house? Why would you move from a house that you own to a house to rent? That doesn't make any sense. This and that, the taxes, blah, blah, blah. And Ashley's like, yeah, he's a real estate agent. He's a real estate developer. Like, nobody cares. Only you care because you're getting his money. Ashley. So we have that situation. So that situation squashed. The guys leave the stage. They gone. But before then, Michael gets into it with Karen. He doesn't let Karen say anything to Ashley. She's trying to address Ashley being smart, running off at the mouth. He jumps in and he's getting into it. And he wants Karen to apologize for the picture because he has a time and date on his passport where he was. So he couldn't have been with that young man. Karen said, I know what I believe and I know what I've seen. I know what I know. So that's it. And so he was like, well, blah, blah, blah. So we have that situation. And it doesn't really solve anything because Michael's saying what he's saying, and then Karen is trying to say what she's saying, and Michael doesn't let her get anything out to say or complete a finished thought because he's talking over her. He don't want to hear what she has to say because she's trying to address what he said. So anyways, we have that situation. No one's gonna. Karen is not apologizing. We find out that Ashley and Michael are trying to have a baby, but then on top of that, they talk about the guy Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is married. Blue and Ray actually did an investigation years ago to find out if Karen and Blue Eyes had something going on. They didn't. He's satisfied, and that's when Ashley jumps in and say, "Oh, go trust your instincts." Trust your instincts, Ray. Like, Ashley, trust your instincts and run away from Michael. You can't because you need the money. So we have that situation going on. So then we find out that Ashley was pregnant. She had a miscarriage, and now she's trying a fertility doctor. She's using a Asian technique, and she has to keep her vagina warm. Her vagina's cold because she's a very cold person, and she has no empathy or sympathy for people. And I don't believe when she cries. I don't believe her tears at all because she's so vile. And she's so vindictive that it's just like, no, but I do like her because she's funny and she keeps the drama going. So she lost her baby, but they're working on having a baby together, and so they're gonna try and they're gonna keep trying. So she's wearing socks, she's covering up her stomach, she's trying to get pregnant. Michael wants her to get pregnant. Michael wants to have a baby with her now. He has changed his mind. He loves her now. He wants to be with her. He can't see himself without her, but just a few months ago he could see himself without her ass. But now he can't see himself without her. He wants to be with her. I'm just like, okay, miss me with that bullshit. Something's going on. They must have added somebody on into the mix. Well, maybe because he can, defecate on her, urinate on her, walk on top of her, and then she'll still be there because she needs the money. The money, the money. So basically, that's really it with the situation. I'm just like, damn. It's like, they really did dog Karen out, but Monique, she stood her grounds. Everybody really stood their grounds. And I think Giselle, she backed up on being really messy with Karen because they really do kind of have some type of friendship. So that's it. Peace them out. One love, and Real Housewife of Potomac.